Hey, welcome to Beyond the Veil Show. Don't forget to do all the things like subscribe, put your thumbs up, put your finger in your ear, whatever you want to do to make this thing move. I think that would be great. Anyway, hi, I'm Pastor Joe, and today I want to tell you a little story about something really bizarre that happened to me, and I'm going to try to back it up with some scripture. My second book is in the process of being edited and put out in the next several weeks. If you haven't read my first book, Conversations with a Chaplain, it's available on Amazon. But the second book is volume 2, and this is a story that will be in this volume. One Saturday afternoon, I had met the 3 ladies that are part of my life and have mentored me for over 30 years. I met them all in church when we were young, and now we're older and we meet once a month. We call ourselves the Quad. I talk about the Quad in the first book. That being said, I had met with the Quad, and earlier in the day, I was prepping for a funeral that I was doing the following morning. I'd received a call from a local mortuary. Sometimes I partner with them to do funerals, and it was for a drowning. So I was having lunch with the girls, and I needed to excuse myself and run to the restroom. When I got in the bathroom, it was a solo restroom. So when I shut the door, it was just me in there. And I sat down, and I was really tired because I'd been up late that night working on this service that I was planning to do the following day. But I closed my eyes, and it was very strange, but I had a vision, and I heard a little boy crying. And in my mind, you have to understand that when these things happen, you think you're crazy. So I decided to go with it just for funs. So I shut my eyes, and I saw this little boy. He was wandering in the dark. He was the cutest little boy with blonde curly hair and blue eyes, and he was crying. And I just said to him, "Go towards the light." And at that point, I saw a door open and an arm reach out, and the little boy grabbed the arm and went in, and then the door closed. I thought, well, that was weird. So I finished my lunch. I told the girls, I'm really losing it. I'm hearing things. I heard a little boy crying and whatever. So the following morning, I got the information about the funeral, and I knew that it was for a little boy. What I didn't know was it was for a 2-year-old little boy who had drowned. When I arrived at the mortuary and I was preparing my message, I met the mother. She was very upset, which indeed she should be. She lost her 2-year-old son. And when I went into the room where the body was in the coffin, it was a 2-year-old little boy with blonde curly hair, and the photo next to the little boy were blue eyes. This was the little boy that I pictured in my mind. I remembered shortly after that, I went to the restroom prior to having a sit down with the family before the service, and I called my husband, and I said, this is so strange, but I remember I told you after lunch that I had this very bizarre encounter in my mind. Well, this little boy in the coffin resembles the exact vision that I had. And I told him, I said, I'm ready to eat my hat because I could not believe that this was the same vision. I sat down with the family. What had happened was 2 weeks prior to this little boy passing, there was a 15-year-old teenage boy that belonged to this family. He went to a house party. While he was at the house party, some crazy teenager brought a gun and started shooting in the air, and one of the bullets came down and hit the 15-year-old boy and killed him. He passed away. The family was in town. There were several relatives staying at the house. It was a 2-story house. There was a pool in the backyard. Early in the morning, some of the teenagers that were in the house there to grieve for the teenage boy that passed had been in the backyard and were in the pool. Someone forgot to lock the back door and left the gate open to the pool. Early that morning, this little boy wandered down through the house around 5 in the morning when everybody was asleep, and he was obsessed with the pool because he had been taking swimming lessons. Well, he found his way into the backyard and went into the pool. About 6 a.m., one of the sisters happened to see the back door opened and went out there and found the little boy floating. By the time they called 911, there was nothing they could do. The little boy had passed. After I met with the family, and the mother was just beside herself, she lost not one little boy, but 2 sons in the same month. She did have 2 older teenage daughters. One was 19, one was 21. They were both present at the funeral, and a lot of family was there. This poor woman had suffered great loss, and during the service, one of the family members got up to speak, and I stepped away from the podium and went to the back where I closed my eyes and was praying. And at that point, another vision came to me. A teenage boy who, to me, must have been her other son, had his arm around the little boy with the blue eyes and the blonde hair. And I think that he perhaps was the one that pulled him through the other side to whatever is beyond the veil. The scripture verse that I found that could represent what I had been experiencing is in Joel 2:28, which says, "And it shall come to pass that I will pour out my spirit on all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams, and your young men shall see visions." Now, whether or not that was a vision and whether or not I can hold on to that scripture, I'm hoping so. But I can tell you this, there is something beyond the veil, and I'm hoping to get those answers when I meet with God in heaven one day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, thumbs up, finger in your ear, whatever you need to do what you need to do to help us get this moving. Have a great day.